So what's going on? So is Donovan Mitchell basically another Paul George? You know, a guy who looks the part, who seems athletic, who seems like he's got the goods, but he can't finish. You know, the guy that pretty much has the reputation of being just kind of like Vince Carter. You know, a guy that has legit athleticism, seems poised, should be considered a superstar, should be considered an argument with the best of the best, but he can't deliver because there were some people who thought Donovan Mitchell should have gotten an honorary MVP. He played stat-wise good, but he can't really get his team over the hump. That's been the knock against Donovan Mitchell. You know, when Shaq was told him to his face a few years ago, he says, "You're not a superstar. Your stats are there and your athleticism is there, but your team doesn't reflect you." It is a reflection on him. You know, he was in a molded, folded. He looked good in the series against Miami because Miami didn't have nobody that could mess with him. And the Heat were embarrassed and he got waxed. That's my team. I call it what it is. But against a team like the Pacers, you had opportunities to win games. You were the leader. You got experience. You were Utah with Gobert. You've been to second rounds before. And you can't finish up leads. That is reflection on your leadership. That's a fact. That's why Tyrese Halliburton is looking good, because he rallied his team and they did the things it was to finish. It's unfair because we hold certain people to certain standards and we say, hey, you choked, you gagged, you're not the man. But if you don't win, what are we supposed to do? Who's going to be holding accountable? Kenny Atkinson as a coach is going to get his blame, yes, because you can't blow 3 games at home and multiple leads like that. But Donovan Mitchell, it falls on you. And you're giving a lot of Paul George-esque type of vibes that, yeah, you look the role, you try to play the role, but when push comes to shove, you ain't the dude. I mentioned Paul George. I'm not going to say James Harden because James Harden really is good enough, but he underachieved in the postseason, but he has a better career. But guys who you seem that you want to anoint and you think they're going to get there, and they show it coming. And there's always those guys for every era, every generation. It don't miss you. You know, it's one thing if you don't have the talent, but when you had the best record in the East and you had more than capable pieces and you lose the way you did, you gotta take the blame because one has to fall on you. You could sit there and say, yeah, I scored this, I scored that, but it doesn't reflect. Yeah, you had 3 games where you scored 35 points and your team loses in 5 games and you blow 2 of those games at home. Think about it. 48 in one of those games that you lost at home and 35 in the second one. So what am I supposed to do with you combined for 83 points total, where you're averaging like 41.5 points and you get 2 L's? What are we supposed to do with that? Because it does fall on your shoulders. And some people are going to look at you and think that you're just a regular season paper champion. They're going to hold you and say, hey, you're not that dude. And Donovan Mitchell is looking like he's not that dude because he looks like he is in need of an alpha. There's nothing wrong with it, but just tell the truth. If you're not the one that can capable of carrying the team, say it. But don't be masquerading like you're the one, and then you have these shortcomings. Because how many years are we going to be looking at you like you look like you could be that dude, you should be that dude, you could be that dude, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it didn't manifest. So, you know, you got to look at yourself with that, and they're going to need another move because the Hunter move from Atlanta didn't do enough, and you got to think of something else. That's what that separates the dudes that go to another level and those guys who settle for where they are, and that's where he's at. So we're going to see if he's just another settler like Paul George. So anyway, let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another shitter if you like it. The membership, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out with time. Peace.